Diabetes means having blood sugar levels that are too high. When we eat food, particularly high carbohydrate foods like grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sweets, and snack foods, much of it gets turned into a sugar called glucose that is released into the bloodstream. Normally, with the help of insulin, a hormone made by the pancreas, this sugar is moved from the bloodstream into the body cells where it can be used for energy. If the pancreas does not make enough insulin or the body doesn't respond well to the insulin it has, sugar builds up in the bloodstream. When these sugar levels reach a certain level, one is said to have type 2 diabetes. Over time, high blood sugar can damage organs, nerves, and blood vessels. Having type 2 diabetes increases the chances of having other serious health problems like a heart attack or stroke, kidney disease, blindness, and amputations. In some people, blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be considered true diabetes. This condition is called prediabetes. Many people with prediabetes
Across town at Fresno Heart and Surgical Hospital, Angela Duran is actually excited about having surgery.
She's been talking about it for a long time. And
yeah, I'm ready. Ready to do this.
She got a great doctor here, so I'm glad.
In general, she's going to have a tremendous improvement in her quality of life, as well as get rid of a lot of the medical problems that go along with being overweight.
At 27 years old, Angela decided to surgically change her body.
A lot of people say, oh, Angela, you don't need a surgery, you know, you're not that overweight, but, you know, they don't walk in my shoes. They don't know how I feel every morning or even at night. I am 206 pounds. My BMI is 36.5. I do have a really strong family history of obesity in my family. I'm probably the smallest in my family. My mother is insulin, dependent. She has high cholesterol, hypertension. So I'm afraid that if I don't do something now, I will be there.
Any questions I can answer for you? All right. Surgery's about an hour and a half.
Angela Duran is about to undergo gastric bypass surgery. Dr. Keith Boone will be performing Angela's surgery.
Anesthesia will be here any minute to go over all their stuff. I'll see you back there in a few.
All right.
We'll take good care of you. Okay? All right. And I'll talk to you after the surgery as well, but you probably won't remember what I tell you. Okay.
So it's something she wanted. So hopefully everything goes good, and I know it would.
All right. Love you. Bye-bye.
Okay, you'll be all right.
She did. Yeah, right.
By 2020, a third of us will be obese. However, in the US, they're already there. Experts forecast that within just 3 years, obesity figures will increase to over half the US population.
So to find out how and why things have got so bad, I've come to the epicenter of the crisis, Evansville, Indiana, officially named America's fattest city.
This city in the Midwest has a population of 117,000. And a massive 38% of them are obese.
Do you think you're reaching crisis point with all this?
I think we're reaching a crisis level.
Over the next 8 weeks, Dr. Christian will be reporting from the front line, witnessing the far-reaching effects of a sedentary lifestyle and a bad diet.
They come here for fast food, they don't come here for salad.
And that should serve as a grave warning to us all. We'll be hearing from people who've lost limbs to obesity.
I got out of the tub and all of a sudden I heard this crunch and then this gush of blood.
And from the team whose job it is to care for them.
The heaviest patient I've lifted is 765 pounds.
Wow, well over 50 stone then.
For me, cheesecake was like crack cocaine.
But for some, that addiction can be fatal. Christian's heading to the Pierre Funeral Home to meet a man who knows all about the ever-expanding population. Because he makes the biggest coffins in the United States.
Hi, Dr. Matthew Weiner, a bariatric surgeon, here to talk to you about your post-operative diet after either a gastric bypass procedure or a sleeve gastrectomy. Now, our post-operative diet that we use here at the Michigan Weight Management Institute is a little bit different from some that you may see online, but we put together this video to help outline what you're going to do in the month after surgery so that you can make sure that you're making all the right decisions and that you have a good understanding of what's going on to your body as you progress through the stages of our diet. So the first thing to start with is to let you know why this diet is necessary. Why can't we just rapidly return you back to a normal diet? And whether you're having either a gastric bypass or a sleeve gastrectomy, when we do the surgery at the gastric bypass, we create something called a gastrojejunostomy, which is a small little hole that the food will travel through. And we also create the small gastric pouch, which I tell patients is typically around the size of my thumb, that will hold the food and serve as your new reservoir for food as opposed to a much larger stomach that you had before the operation. With a sleeve gastrectomy, we also create a very narrow channel. And in fact, both groups of patients, the sleeve gastrectomy patients and the gastric bypass patients, have very similar dietary restrictions after surgery. And it all stems from the fact that there's a lot of swelling and a lot of adjustment that happens to the stomach in the first month or so after surgery that mandates that we start with very soft, mushy foods and slowly progress to more solid and tough foods as we go. And so we're going to walk you through exactly how to do this. Before we get started talking about food, I think it's important to understand your need for bariatric vitamins. Now, a lot of people are tempted to just go down to the drugstore and pick up a Centrum or a regular over-the-counter multivitamin. But what I would ask is that if you have any of these vitamins at home, look at the contents. Look at the amount of iron and the amount of B vitamins and the other vitamins and minerals that are in the over-the-counter vitamin and compare it to a bariatric multivitamin. What you'll find is that there's about 2 or 3 times as much of each of the individual vitamins and minerals in the bariatric vitamin. Also, the bariatric vitamins are chewable, and so that's going to allow you to tolerate them even as early as a few days after surgery. So especially in the first year, it's absolutely critical that you select a bariatric multivitamin, not a run-of-the-mill over-the-counter multivitamin.